Hello, everyone. Jim Coventry from RotoWire here. Here are 5 players who will bust in week 1. Wait until the end, and I'll give you a 6th. First player who will bust this week, Darren Waller. Now, I know he's had a hamstring injury or a hold-in, whatever it was. That's not my issue. J.C. Jackson, the cornerback of the Chargers. We're hearing he's not going to play. He might play. He's not 100%. And that means it's going to be a big game for Davante Adams. But that's not enough. We need more. Derwen James is the reason. Derwen James, if we think back to the Chiefs-Chargers game late last year, we saw the stat line. Travis Kelce went off. But if you watch the game, Kelce was completely shut down for 3+ quarters, and then Derwen James got hurt. After that, in regulation and overtime, Kelce went ballistic. Derwen James, in this new version with the additional players on the Chargers defense, he will probably man up Darren Waller. And I don't think Darren Waller is going to have much space to operate. And again, with J.C. Jackson out, it'll be so much easier to go to Davante Adams and then even Hunter Renfrow as well. I see Waller going 3 catches for 26 yards. Again, I'm saying bust. I'll give you stat lines I project. They're not going to be big lines, but at least these guys will score you something. The next player, Deontay Johnson. Look, Mitch Trubisky's going to start. And I think Matt Canada running the offense is going to choose to roll him out frequently to the right. The reason being, Trubisky throws much better on the move to the right, and he only has to read half the field. Reading the field has been an issue for him in his career. I think Deontay Johnson will be heavily utilized on the left outside, probably 60 to 70% of the time. He plays frequently there. And I believe that the rookie Pickens will be on the right side. Deontay Johnson, not only I think is going to be away from the play design, but Chidobe Awuzie will probably spend a lot of time on Johnson as well. And I also don't think Trubisky is going to be like Ben Roethlisberger looking to pepper Johnson with targets. I see a 4 for 35 day for Deontay Johnson. Fine, but not the day we'd like. The next one, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Look, great end of the season. A lot of you love him, and I totally understand why. But here's the deal with the Eagles. The Eagles have a secondary right now. And I know St. Brown primarily plays the slot, and I know Darius Slay and James Bradbury probably stay on the outside. Avonte Maddox has been a decent slot corner, but they just traded for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who was a great slot corner in New Orleans, is slated to play free safety. And I think that the Eagles are going to realize, especially they likely play with the lead. I don't think they're worried about DJ Chark with their outside corners. I think they want to take away Goff's security blanket, and that, based on the end of last year, is St. Brown. So I think they use Gardner-Johnson and Maddox to bracket St. Brown and make Goff uncomfortable, force him to throw the outside. I think St. Brown goes 4 for 30 for you. The next one, Mike Evans. Again, I love all these players, but I got to predict what I'm going to see. So we already talked about in previous shows, the interior offensive line for the Bucs is a mess. 2 of the linemen, they're going to be down at center and left guard. They're going to be down to third-string type players. And now, Dallas, one thing we'll say, with DeMarcus Lawrence, and then we got Micah Parsons, they're going to run a lot of stunts to get pressure up the middle on Brady. Now, Brady's going to beat that pressure with quick passes out. That's the problem. I don't think Mike Evans is going to see downfield passes develop here. And so what I think is going to happen here is Mike Evans is going to get 4 catches for 33 yards. But I think at the end of the day, I think they're going to be able to run on the Cowboys. I think the quick game's going to work. It sounds like Gage is going to play. We even see Julio for 20 snaps in this game. And I think Godwin, we don't know if he's going to play or not. But I think nonetheless, Evans is the player Dallas will also probably bracket. He's the one who's the biggest threat to them. So I think ultimately he just has a low game here. And now, number 5, Javante Williams. I love the matchup with Seattle, but the problem is this game is going to be all about Russell Wilson. Wilson is going to go into Seattle, and I think the coaches are going to know this right away. Russ, do whatever you need to do. Throw 5 touchdown passes, whatever it takes. I think Javante Williams may get 13 carries here, 40 yards. Seahawks are a decent run defense, and they're at home, and maybe chips in a couple catches for 7 yards. So you'll get something out of Javante. But I think this game going back to Seattle, yeah, it's all about Russell Wilson. And I promise you a number 6, but stay tuned after that because I'll give you a couple Captain Obviouses too. The 6-1. Oh, man, the rookie sensation, red hot fantasy pick, Dameon Pierce. He's playing the Colts. Now, the Colts gave up the 7th fewest fantasy points to running backs last year. Their linebackers are excellent in covers. It looks like Shaquille, former Darius Leonard, is going to play. So I think we're in really good shape there. And the thing is, I do expect the Colts with Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor, I think they're going to come out pretty hot on offense in this one. And I think they're really going to take it to the Texans. And I think that's going to game script out Pierce. I think it's a Rex Burkhead receiving game. So I think Dameon Pierce gets 12 carries for 35 yards. He gets a tough run D, maybe chips in a couple catches for 6 yards. So we're not looking for much here. Now, Captain Obvious Bust. J.K. Dobbins, he may play. We're hearing today they've been so coy all preseason. Regardless, I don't see a world where he gets heavy usage. I don't think they're playing coaching head games. They're playing the Jets. It's not the team they need to mess around with. So I think Dobbins is legitimately not 100% yet. And they are playing the Jets, so there's merit to that. But if the Ravens get out to a lead, are they really going to grind Dobbins? I don't think so. I think they're going to let Mike Davis and others do the work, maybe even Kenyon Drake a bit. So that's a Captain Obvious bust. And the last Captain Obvious bust, Micah Parsons. We've been talking all preseason. In that offense that's coming over from San Francisco at Mike McDaniel to Miami, the tight ends need the block. That talk about them wanting to trade Kasich, I believe that was real because I think they realized, man, we franchise him and we really can't use him. And now they're playing the Patriots. And the Patriots typically have done very well against tight ends. Bill Belichick, we know how much he loves that tight end position. He sees it as a linchpin to running offenses. So if Kasich is at all weaponized, I think right away they're going to have a defense in place. And I know Tyreek Hill and Waddle are their biggest threats, but Belichick's defenses are so basic to get after tight ends. And I just think those two aren't going to be on the same page, Kasich, because Kasich is going to be, like I said, I think he's going to lose a lot of snaps to Durham Smythe here. Now, I tell you what, draft season's finishing up this week, this couple days. Make sure you get the edge on your league mates. You can get 2 days free at RotoWire behind the paywall, no credit card needed. Just give me your email address. Go to rotowire.com/try, and we'll set you up. We'll get you ready to dominate your league. Now, we got a couple questions in the hopper. We'll take those before we get out. Freeze, Burns, Eagles D must start. You know, the Eagles D is going to be okay here, but here's the thing. I predict St. Brown to have a rough game, but I think that Hawkinson's going to do okay. And I also think that DeAndre Swift's going to do damage as a runner and a receiver until the game's out of hand, and then a receiver later. That offensive line from the Lions, they're legitimately a top 3 line right now. And I don't know how many sacks they're going to get. Now, if Goff goes interception crazy, that'll work. So I get it. I understand it, but don't underestimate that Lions offensive line. Dustin, do you start Brandon Ayuk or Mooney? Good question. Very good question. So Mooney is going to get a lot of targets, but we know that the front 7 of the 49ers is ferocious. This is a bad first start for Justin Fields. I really think Fields is going to be fine this year, and the design rollouts are really going to help. But I think the pressure is going to come so fast and furious. This is one of the few games I won't love Darnell Mooney. It's just week 1. If this is week 4 or week 5, I view it differently. I think Mooney's going to come in and get you about 4 catches for maybe 40 yards. And it's not going to be a bad game, but Mooney's not going to get that 80, 90-yard game like he's going to get a lot this year. On the other hand, Ayuk. I do think the 49ers can boat race them. I think they really can get out and run the ball, be it with Mitchell, with Trey Lance, and I think they can really make a lot of noise. But I think in this game, even if they get a lead, I think they're going to want to give Lance some deep shots to get some confidence in him. This is a game, even though it's a road game, I believe they can. And Ayuk has worked so well with Lance during the offseason together and during camp. And I think the deep shots are a big part of that offense. So I think Ayuk gets 1 big play for sure, and he could get 4 or 5 catches. But I think he could flirt with 100 yards and a touchdown in this game. And a lot of it could come on 1 big play. The Bears' corners, Jalen Johnson's emerging. I like him. But the Bears got a Kyler Gordon, a rookie corner, Jaquan Brisker, who's limited. He's with an injury. He's a rookie safety. Just the wrong team to mess with. So I'm going to go that route. And I don't see any other questions there. All right, so we look good. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming in. And everybody, good luck in your drafts if they're remaining, and have a great night.